After pulling several $1 million out of the financial markets, speaking face-to-face with thousands of struggling retail participants, and sitting down in private rooms with some of the biggest, most revered traders across the internet, I can confidently tell you that I have finally discovered the definitive cure for your psychological mistakes. I used to think the answer was hidden inside the pages of classic literature. I've read almost every major book across the trading landscape. I devoured Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I studied the Trading Psychology series by Dr. Brett Steinberger line by line. I even spent months breaking down The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tender. In fact, I didn't just read Jared's book twice, I actually tracked him down, sat in a room with him and interviewed him for hours on end, picking his brain and taking meticulous notes on the exact psychological frameworks he uses to fix elite institutional performers. But what I'm about to say next might genuinely catch you off guard, and it's going to make a lot of people defensive. No book is going to save your account. No book is magically going to turn you into a profitable market participant. And no book is going to hand you millions of dollars in cash. However, the raw 5-step process I have personally developed, which I've carefully ranked from the least important to the absolute most critical foundation, just might save you. If you are ready to stop relying on outdated theory books and want to start tracking your actual performance data with the exact real-time execution models used by professional desks, click below description to unlock our complete trading data and analytical software. Let's unpack step number 1 by asking a seemingly simple question. What on earth is trading psychology? When most people enter this industry, they instantly misidentify the problem. They tell themselves, oh, I took a terrible entry today, or I missed a clean breakout, or I bought too early, sold too early, and held my losing trades way too long. That means I just have bad trading psychology. I am here to look you in the eye and tell you that you are completely wrong. Those execution mistakes are merely the side effects. True psychology is a complex, deeply rooted matrix of survival instincts and underlying emotions that we are going to systematically dismantle. But if we are going to walk down this road together, and if you are ever going to see a permanent upward shift in your equity curve, you need to understand that this is a grueling process. There is no instant fix and there is no magic pill you can swallow overnight to cure your bad habits. Before we take another step forward into rebuilding your mindset, I need a firm commitment from you right now that you are fully prepared to completely rewire your brain and discard every single piece of amateur advice you've been fed in the past. If you aren't willing to do that, this process simply won't work for you, and quite frankly, you are wasting both your time and mine. I've watched thousands of my personal students take these exact principles to completely transform their financial realities. But I have also watched thousands of stubborn people ignore these 5 steps entirely. They get absolutely nowhere, ending up with significantly less money in their bank accounts, zero confidence in their execution, and a massive loss of time, the one truly non-renewable asset we possess as human beings. That brings us directly to step number 2. You must realize that your ego is your greatest enemy. Every single day I scroll through social media and watch retail traders let their pride completely run their accounts. They take every single losing trade as a deeply personal insult. The moment they miss a clean breakout, they spiral into self-loathing, talking down to themselves, saying, "I'm so stupid, I'm a total idiot, I must be completely brain dead." Whether you consciously realize it in the heat of the moment or not, that toxic internal dialogue is actively degrading your mental capital, setting your progress back by months and burning real money. You have to understand that this game is explicitly designed around a very specific paradox. The best loser always wins. If you are sitting at your desk thinking a red trade means you are a failure, or if you believe that not being consistently profitable within your first 6 to 12 months means you aren't destined for this life, you are setting yourself up for an absolute disaster. If you want to immediately escape the toxic cycles of retail social media and surround yourself with a structured, data-driven network of professionals who treat trading like a cold, calculating business, click below description to secure your spot in our private trading community. You have absolutely nothing to prove to your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your parents, or the random strangers watching your Instagram stories. The very second you allow the desire for external validation to enter your trading room, you are subconsciously feeding a monstrous ego that demands a green day every single session. That pressure will completely fracture your psychology, dry up your profits, and run you out of the business. This leads us to step number 3. Outside visitors are strictly prohibited. You have got to stop bringing the chaos of your everyday life onto the trading desk. Just the other day, I opened my phone to one of the most heartbreaking messages I've ever received from a student inside our community. This was someone who had successfully made $22,000 trading right alongside us, learning our models and growing his account beautifully. But out of nowhere, his girlfriend broke up with him, and he started facing some unexpected financial pressures in his personal life. Even though his trading account was in perfect shape, he brought that emotional instability to the charts and went on absolute tilt for 48 hours. In 2 days of pure, unadulterated madness, he blew through his entire cushion and went $12,000 into a negative hole. That was a sobering reminder that absolutely none of us are immune to the catastrophic damage of outside events. When you sit down at that desk, you must be a closed loop. What happened to you yesterday, a week ago, or even on a losing trade an hour ago is completely irrelevant to the present setup. If you cannot look at the screen with 100% mental alertness and zero emotional baggage, you do not press the buy button. Knowing when not to trade is a mandatory staple of a professional mindset. I have seen far too many individuals try to trade through a messy divorce, or right after a beloved pet passed away, or while they are deeply stressed about a mountain of debt, only to execute on pure raw emotion and vaporize their entire savings. It has to stop right now. If your mind isn't a completely calm, clear slate, take a step back, walk away from the screens, and wait for the day you are actually ready to perform. Now for step number 4, strategy and structural reality. Let me smash a major illusion right here. There is no hidden holy grail strategy out there that is going to magically print money for you. Years ago, I was that gullible guy spending thousands of dollars on generic courses, including a $3,000 program that literally just taught me to buy when the 8 EMA crossed over the 20 EMA. It was a complete waste of capital. The cold truth is that there is only one foundational element that has consistently provided a true mathematical edge over decades of market history: pure price action and volume correlation. Once you learn how to read the structural story the candlesticks are telling you, you can transform into an execution machine, but only after you've locked down the psychology. When you are dialed into a real system, you have to expect a natural phase of trial and error. But during that phase, your only job is to keep your losses incredibly small and survive long enough to compile data. You need to journal every single setup, figuring out exactly what type of market participant you are, so you can build a rigid system around your personality. When you have a real system, you no longer show up to the screens in the morning wondering what to do. You step into the market with absolute conviction, knowing exactly where your invalidation point is without ever second-guessing yourself. Stop blindly following random alert channels or looking for hot signals. You will never build legitimate conviction or long-term wealth by copying someone else's homework. It is fantastic to learn the mechanics from a profitable mentor, but you have to dig deep into your own mind and figure out what specific environments make sense to you. Which brings us to the absolute peak of the pyramid. Step number 5, the truth about confidence. The vast majority of retail participants are absolutely paralyzed by fear. Even when they have their platform pulled up with a tiny position size of just one contract or a single share, their hand shakes and they are terrified to press the buy button. Why are they so afraid when the financial risk is practically zero? Because they are deeply terrified that if the trade fails, the fragile confidence they had in their strategy will completely drop to zero, sending them into a downward psychological spiral. But after spending 7 intense years mastering this game, I can tell you that true confidence cannot be bought, and it cannot be faked. It can only be forged through raw screen time and real skin in the game. If you sit there and watch the exact same mechanical price action setup play out 100, 200, or 300 times right in front of your eyes, don't you think that the 301st time you see it, clicking that buy button will be completely effortless? You will know the exact mathematical downside, you will understand the clear upside potential, and your brain will be completely at peace because you've seen the movie 300 times before. But if you've only seen a setup occur once or twice, it doesn't matter if the greatest trader on earth tells you it's a perfect entry, your palms will be sweating and your heart will be racing because your ego and your money are exposed to an outcome you don't truly understand. If you are ready to completely stop the amateur guesswork and want to deploy a highly disciplined execution model on a heavily optimized platform designed to preserve your capital, click below description to access our exclusive broker partnership and professional layout. To survive and thrive in this industry long-term, you must fully commit to a multi-year process. For most of the students I have helped, it takes at least 2, 3, or honestly 4+ years of dedicated daily effort to build a real, unshakable skill set. You have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I truly willing to dedicate 4 years of my life to mastering a skill that can grant me total financial autonomy? The only real limits that exist in this game are the mental chains you willingly choose to place on yourself. When the market gets brutal, do you fold under the pressure, or do you double down on your routines and declare that you want this success more than you want your next breath of air? That was my exact mindset when I was coming up. I didn't care who laughed at me, I didn't care who doubted my ambitions, and I didn't care about the people telling me I would never make it. I spent every single morning for years staring intently at the charts, saving every penny from my grinding side hustles to fund my accounts and pushing through endless trial and error. I refused to stop. I went from being a kid scraping together $50 a day to $500 a day to $5,000 a day, culminating in wrapping up 2023 up nearly $850,000 in trading profits. I started that entire journey with a single $5,000 account. I didn't start with millions, and I wouldn't ever recommend anyone start with massive capital anyway, because without locked-in confidence and precise risk management, a large account will just result in a larger loss. Commit to these 5 core steps, run your desk like a strict corporate business, and watch how quickly the world changes around you. Keep your execution sharp, keep your risk safe, and let's go dominate these charts together.